Attention gamers. I am a League of Legends player, which means two things. First, I have a deep hatred for other people and I've come to only expect negativity from my interactions with players in online games. And that I've never really played other games because League has a habit of consuming people. The only time I've really ventured out was during the hardcore WoW days, which was arguably the most fun I've ever had playing games, where I won over the communities of many top streamers as well as the victims of many plushie tosses, and whenever anyone ventured into the depths of hell from other games, I was sure to welcome them.
Are you watching Rob?
Yeah,
Rob.
yes, I'm watching his video.
That guy has the funniest League videos of all time.
Bro, dude, straight up, these are the greatest fucking analogies I've ever heard. He just rips them off. I wonder how natural they come to him.
My Steam library looks sad as shit, where the only games are from sponsored agreements that may or may not have ghosted me and never fully paid me, a small dabble into the world of drug dealing, and 2024 Pokemon, where I made a single video showing the adventures of Dan Clancy and never touched it again. Outside of League and WoW, I have less than 10 total hours in other games, and it shows. If you were to ask me what an extraction shooter is, I would say it's what my pork sword turns into if I look at photos of Sydney Sweeney for too long and I've never picked up a gun in my life IRL or in a game. I mean a gun that you have to aim. Okay, ignoring the fact that my editor is a dickhead, today I figured I would try the latest Knees of the Beast to see if I can go from ADC to ARC, and let me tell you I was excited.
A few moments later.
First of all, in the basic step, you need to launch the Steam. Right click on your game and go to its property. Under the general tab, you will find the option of launch options. In the launch options,
Turns out Vanguard isn't happy when your computer boots up games that aren't League of Losers, but with it I was in, and for those of you like me who see this game but didn't care to understand it, here is all you need to know about the lore. In the future, the world gets so fucked up because people can't agree on a single thing that it just gives up boom apocalypse, and what's left is divided into two parts. The top side, which is controlled by artificial intelligence, big greedy asshats that created an army of deadly AI. These are called the Ark. And then District 13, the underground aka Speranza, where all the refugee humans live. Most of them are pussies down here, but they are running out of resources, and it relies on the big dick swingers to go up top and fight against weaponized ChatGPT, but also each other, to get resources and bring them back down for the pussies hiding down in the Earth's asshole. These people are called raiders. I'm a raider, and this is my first time going to the top side to grab shit for my family. Almost immediately I see a flare and hear fighting, thinking it's a few raiders taking on one of Elon's weaponized turds, only to see one dude in doggy style and his friend fighting another raider. I'm not one for bullying, so I promptly inform him from afar that I've never aimed a weapon before. I decide to take cover next to Tweedledee and Tweedledum, only for the dickhead on the top of the hill to introduce himself. I blame the moron in the hazmat suit having a panic attack behind me, so I'm just like, bro, go find your own quasi-melted Honda Civic to hide behind, which ends in him getting knocked as well, and with no gun training I had to just let the killer instinct take over. I believe I'm supposed to say hooray, as I now had all the components to film the sequel to The Human Centipede, but the first order of business was to walk over to this douche canoe who apparently can't play well with others and tell him if he thought getting shot 30 times was bad, wait until he feels one of my punches. If I'm being honest, this was then followed by a discussion between me and two half-dead guys on the logistics of how I revive them, only for us to come to this conclusion.
I have no idea.
This meant one of them would be bleeding out while I would be putting the other out of his misery in a humane way. At this point, if anyone were to ask, I was definitely the favorite to win this season of the Hunger Games, and decide not having any experience in this type of game, I was feeling cockier than a show horse on Viagra for my next fight, and I already found my next dumbass victim. Hope the pussies back home were hungry because daddy was bringing some loot back from his first mission.
Bruh.
It turns out losing everything meant that my pre-game routine in my next game consisted of being told that my gun was basically a decoration, because the concept of crafting and buying ammo was beyond the comprehension of someone who has only played 4-button games before. I said fuck it, went into the game and just figured I would panty raid a nuked women's locker room, and if push came to shove I would just whip a bunch of tampons in my Rattlers magazine and pray for the best. Turns out the best thing I found in here was some sunflower seeds and a dog collar that was signed by my favorite webcam beggar.
I hate every single fucking person.
After 5 minutes of riveting gameplay where I greatly increased my mechanical skill of opening and closing high school lockers, I had a weapon and things to put in it, so my mindset at this point was this was a win and I was ready to make like a fart and blow this shithole. I found one of the elevators back to District 13, but it turns out these take longer to prepare than it takes pirate software to apologize for fucking up, and worst of all, they attract the deadly drones. My first quest was in the books, aka don't run into any dickheads and bring home some Taco Bell for the pussies, and here's where I was shown that apparently chickens can be used to craft materials for you. Not entirely sure where that fits into my breakdown, but the combination of that and me going on a bit of a shopping spree and I had ascended. Future missions would be easy as shit, I could feel it, and now I was basically ready to fuck up some LLM murder machines. Of course some tit licker had to show that he too failed playtime class in kindergarten, and it was also at this point where I learned at a very unfortunate time that you can climb over objects that were previously protecting you. Anyways, it turns out someone pissed in this dude's Cheerios this morning, so unfortunately he was just gonna have to get outplayed by a mobile player. I stole all his shit and then proceeded to rage bait him, demanding an apology for starting the fight, saying he would have to beg me to revive him, declaring he would have to pledge his allegiance as my bitch moving forward. Only to realize that he had been dead and disconnected from this lobby like 5 minutes ago and I was talking to myself. Anyways, I remembered from the last time I called for an Uber back to Speranza how much attention it attracted, but with my newfound third-person shooter confidence that would be the plan, to lure them out this time and then kill them for my quest. None of them came, but then I heard this.
Hello.
My first potential ally. I froze up in full social autism at my first interaction with another raider like this, and without saying anything we were BFFs, ready to take on whatever dangers were ahead of us. But then I had a better idea. And that's the story of how I ruined my first friendship, but if there's one thing I know how to do from playing League, it's go next. In each round it was becoming painfully obvious that I didn't know which guns were good, nor did I understand the rudimentary concept that sliding uphill is suboptimal when a deadly robot is shooting at you, but I am happy to say I did end up coming out on top. I killed my first metal moron and was ready to take it back to Bitchville to secure part of the quest, but the elevator was surrounded by more of those fuckers who took all those jobs away from Amazon delivery drivers, and I wasn't going to stand for that, so I started what would turn into my deadliest battle yet.
Kaya, please just fucking go. Just stop. Fucking go. Just stop.
Turns out they called mom in for backup and I wasn't prepared for that.
Fucking go. Just stop.
I ran out of tampons to shove in my firearms, which meant I would only have my Fortnite pickaxe left, and long story short, this ended in me doggy styling over to one of the robots as if I could plead my case to him.
Look at me, man! I'm not funny, I steal jokes, my dick don't work, man! I got to piss in a plastic bag, man! I got no dick!
In a moment of desperation, I turned to a bit of looks maxing to see if it would make a difference, but in my very next battle, having a stronger jawline did nothing but attract some greasy weasel gamer to take advantage of the fact that I was already getting gang banged by two of these weaponized kites. After dying, I figured this dude was about to learn about karma when killing me meant he was now outnumbered. Turns out that man was a cold-blooded killer, and it wasn't a man at all, it was Mrs. Ming, my landlord from Schedule 1. It's crazy how all these games have connected storylines. Next round I was playing high-stakes peekaboo with another prompt-engineered pigeon when sure enough another one of my dickhead cousins had to show why he'll never have real friends because he makes decisions like getting fucking face tattoos and screwing over his own family. To be honest, I was losing all hope in humanity. The next game I was so down bad I didn't even have a weapon, so I knew if I ran into any branded Tesla I would be capital F fucked. My hope was at an all-time low until I heard gunshots. It was a friend. With less health than a chain-smoking COPD patient, I stumbled across to him. He couldn't tell if I was friendly, but he knew for damn sure I was useless, and thanks to him, I was saved. Psych, I stepped on an anthill, and whatever the hell this thing was not exactly in the mood to deal with me. So as I slowly died out in a river of my ancestors' blood, I thought if I'm going to learn how to be a real raider, then I should be looking at what the top raiders are doing, the ones that everyone is watching. But the guy at the top was a total nutcase, literally.
Oh. If we die here, this will be my 13th reason.
It won't happen. It won't happen. I never died of legs. Okay, well, you know, when you do that, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Peanut is fucking, I'm dead. Peanut is purposely eliminating me.
Someone don't go down. Someone don't go down.
Listen,
And after watching him for a while, I was left with more questions than answers. Like, how many Big Macs are safe to consume in a day, and how did this VTuber convince so many of his viewers' dads to have sex with him? But I also learned that what I was lacking was something called goop, and that the most goop could be found in these areas outlined in red. The new plan would be I would head to that zone and be a full-blown goopa. But the surveillance system seemed sophisticated, and the second I went inside I had to deal with a weaponized Roomba. That said, I made a friend and we built an alliance. I would goop while she would do all the work. I asked if my looks maxing was making her feel anything in her nether region.
Negative!
We even met a third on Bumble and made a blood pact by squatting in front of each other a few times, and if you think I was bad, this guy didn't even have the confidence to pull the damn trigger. I showed them the ropes, but then it was time to part ways and to take all the goop I acquired back to Bitchville to feed my family. I needed an elevator, and when I found one I knew I had made it. I could hear someone opening it, and I knew my time was limited. All of my hardships would be worth nothing if I didn't make it. Having a full inventory worth of goop would be diminished if I couldn't find it. But it was there. I had done it. I had completed the first introductory tutorial quest in the game.